And our next upcoming presentation is on unboxing the secret to risk mitigated mission critical cloud transformations, which will be from our mission critical cloud partner, Cloud4C. And we'll have with us Mr. Sriram Narasimhan, who's the Associate Vice President for Solutions. He's an accomplished technology architect with multidisciplinary experience in handling digital transformation opportunities for enterprise accounts across cloud and data center technologies. Welcome, Mr. Sriram. It's all yours.
Yeah, hi.
Would you like to just check if you can share your presentation?
Yeah, absolutely. Just give me a minute, right? Okay, very good evening, gentlemen. Okay, so today, in the next 15 to 20 minutes, right, so we will talk something about digital transformation strategy, as well as like unboxing the secrets of mission critical cloud transformations. So basically, we want to clearly deep dive into the aspects of like what kind of like experience and like risks and the trade-offs which organizations are getting into in the present day scenario when it comes to like doing a digital transformation strategy. Then we will highly touch upon like what are the critical elements, right, which you need to look into account, right, when it comes to running a mission critical operations center on a cloud environment. Post that, we will also give a glimpse of what our capabilities are from a Cloud4C's point of view, right, in onboarding the customers towards this digital transformation journey, as well as like setting up the mission critical operations centers, and also giving a positive roadmap, okay, which is going to be in alignment with the customer strategy, as well as like bringing in a lot of customer experience. Okay, with that into account, I'm just like heading directly to my slides. Okay, so today there is a huge dilemma. If you look at, right, there is a trade-off for the organization today. If you see at one side of the scale, there is experience, and second side you have risk, the risk for change. Okay, when it comes to experience, right, so if you see with the modern day technologies and like the latest inventions which we have in the space, right, so we have a lot of like internet ready applications, lot of IoT applications, lot of cloud ready applications. Basically what the business is looking at is to enhance like the customer experience, right? What we are doing, so they are trying to rush to provide like frictionless digital experience to the users. Okay, so if you see gone are the days of like old waterfall method of like application development, right? So they are going to cater into mobility space, like you have like a lot of social media space, everything they want to bring in. Basically for the business to be in the market, they need to be like they need to have basically the best customer experience, right? But at what cost? That's what we are actually looking at, right? So basically customers needs to know, right, even though like they can actually move to the digital transformation, at the same time they need to like look into aspects related to the compliances, aspect related to the security requirements. Basically we are talking about not only the traditional security of like the perimeter level, you're talking about like insider threats, you're talking about like social media, you're talking about activism, you're talking about brand management. All this stuff you have to look in from an experience point of view, right? These are some of the caveats basically we need to look into. At the same time, there is some aversion from the customer, right? You know what, like we can actually do, why don't you wait for a period of time, right, before we secure an environment to be like cloud ready, so that like we can actually go to a robust mechanism in cloud. What it happens, they actually lose, okay, the risk of like the customer experience, because they are delaying the whole objective of digital transformation. So that's a big, what you say, no-go or a go decision which is happening with the organizations today. Basically the CIOs and the CTOs, as well as like the infrastructure technology heads, right, are still okay in a flip-flop situation, whether to go or not to go, and what's the right time for them to actually make this jump. Okay, so these are some of the scenarios we will just take in. So what? So do they nearly compromise each one? No, that's not the case, right? So basically, since the organizations are actually accelerating their cloud journey, right? Now the question is not whether or not the apps will move to the cloud, right? It is about how we are going them to the cloud with taking the minimal risk as much as possible, right? For majority of the organizations which we actually have encountered, okay, over the period of like last 4 to 5 years, right? It's not about getting cloud ready and go to cloud ready. It's the definitive roadmap which they are actually looking at. It is like the aversion from the minds of the CTO, as well as like the application and infrastructure heads, right? So do I make a change today? What if something goes wrong? right? Do I have a strategy to roll back? What is the loss of time which I need to make up in that space, right? So what kind of application strategy we need to go in, right? Some cases, for example, they might look at like developing new solutions for cloud native, and some cases, which we say obviously it's not an absolute must, okay, unless there is a roadmap towards it. What we are suggesting is like make a roadmap as smooth as possible for you to cloud, knowing how your business is going to scale up, and you can actually have the perceived business risks and the mitigation. And also we bring in all the features of the cloud, which could give you a secure environment. What we basically are telling is like we want to have a right equal match, okay, of both experience as well as like the risk, so that like it's like from a business standpoint, the business is going great. At the back end, from an administration point of view, be it from the IT, be it from the application front, right? The application owners are like hassle free. So net, what we are suggesting is experience and risk mitigation both are equally important, and it's a balance scale which needs to be done. What we are also suggesting is it's not the decision which is done between the company within itself. We are also assisting the customers, right? Basically, to take multiple, conversions beyond the room. They can actually reach out to the experts outside in the area. They can actually like look at what other organizations are actually doing. Also, they can actually learn from the other mistakes which the other organizations are doing, and they can actually bring in the best of the features over here, right? With that, also one point we ought to make it sure, right? So what makes it tough for them to actually go into this space, right? Basically, we are talking about like mission critical applications, right? So when you're talking about mission critical applications, these are the ones which are going to be critical for your business to run, right? So these applications are there in your ecosystem for quite a long bit of time. They are embedded with your culture. They are embedded with your existing set of like environment footprint, the resources who are actually like supporting over a period of time, the investments on the technology front which the customer has actually like done over a period of time, the processes which have been like evolved, okay, over a period of like say 15 to 20 years or even more in some cases, right? For them to actually like transform to a digital space and actually move to the cloud, there is a bit of a thought through process which they need to look into that, right? Other part which we need to look at, right? How can they actually modernize some of these applications to rather start from the scratch, right? So for example, there are some applications which might need to do a little bit of tweaking, which can be run on cloud, at which can give you better performance, right? So there is a straight tie knot which the customers need to like look into, right? That is the way part is like a difficult, tough decision maker process which comes into the place. That's what you are saying, right? It's always best to have a partner in your journey who can actually like jointly work together to make your roadmap as successful as possible, right? Some of the examples, right, we have actually like cited below, if you could see, right? See, for example, like there is a failed ERP transformation, one of the major snack powerhouse globally, which costed them like more than $1 million drop, okay, in their stock prices, right? This is due to basically a transformation from like their on-premises system to a disjointed ERP, right? So this is a critical system for them, and there is a lack of proper due diligence which happened due to this happen. Similarly, if you could see, right, so there are like other cited examples, right? For example, you have to always choose your right solution to implement, right? If you go somewhere here or wrong, right, it's better to like roll back at an early stage, right? For example, if knowingly you are going to invest on technology which is not going to give you any benefits, right, it's going to be again like a doomsday for you, right? This is also one of the areas which we need to look into that. And the last part, there should be a clear scope and clear boundary which needs to be defined. For example, like no much willingness, you can actually like put your technology roadmap strategy and everything, right? If there is no boundary and there is an endless limit, right, there is definitely going to be slippage in the whole process. So what we are suggesting is it's for the best of the customers to have a right set of skills, and also the partners with like expertise from the outside, which who can actually like enable them jointly together with the leading industries solution providers to have a journey which is going to be like cloud ready, where they can actually run their critical applications with the required SLAs which they are looking at, with the best customer experience, and so also the other performance benefits which you are actually going to get from a cloud, be it from a reliability point of view, be it from the robustness point of view, be it from the scalability point of view, and all this stuff. That is what we are actually suggesting it, right? So the migration methodology from point A to point B here becomes the key app. Okay. So once the migration is done, right, what also we are suggesting is imperative for this organization to run a mission critical operations center, right? So this mission critical operations center is nothing but the old, terms only, but we have just like recoined because earlier, like you have like limited touch points to actually look into. Now it has actually encompassed to a various level, right? Again, we are going to follow the same set of like same tenets, basically the people, process, and technology, and the other surrounding pillars are going to be revolving around them, right? Basically, what we are suggesting is today we are looking at a customer 360, right? So basically, from onboarding to the customer into the system to do the periodic like migrations, any change request management to the run operations, it needs to be done at a 360-degree view, right? There needs to be an integrated dashboard which the required stakeholders who are the participants can actually look into, and they can actually get a holistic view, right? Second key pillar is to have a ITSM solution with the inbuilt automation out of it. So what we basically say is like, as much as possible, like inbuilt automation to arrange it, right? Self-healing is one of the key areas you can actually look into. What we are to also look into is like wherever it's possible, we can actually reduce the mundane activities which are consuming majority of the times of the administrator, right? So basically, like there are certain low-level automation areas I basically think which can be like eliminated through automation, and this practice it's actually happening for the last like few years, and the maturity index should be more. So, and there should be a roadmap which should be towards that. Okay. Next comes the key area, that's like the application performance management, right? So here, like, you know, there are like lots and lots of applications in the space, right, which are consuming like X, Y, Z amount of resources, and they are integrating to multiple touch points, okay, be it from an authentication point of view, be it from an interface point of view, right? So there are a lot of transactions, synthetic transactions, which will happen over a period of time, right? The best case over here is to have a proper application performance monitoring solution, which can actually like deep dive into the logs from an application point of view. It can actually give you ready details about the sessions, how it's working, how the transaction has been done. So wherever there is a slippage, right, it's not only going to be at an infrastructure level, it might be due at application level also. This can be taken into account. The next key area, what we always advocate to the customer, is around the security and the compliance management portfolio. With the advent of like cloud, and like there are going to be like multiple areas and multiple avenues for unauthorized entry to the system, right? So it becomes imperative for the organizations to implement a security policy, which is going to be in alignment to the local native solutions which are in place, apart from the global standards, like be it like your ISOs and the PCIs and the NIST, right? And also the security measures, right? It should be not only at the perimeter level. We are talking about like the perimeter defense, the boundaryless defense. We are talking about application security. We are also talking about like benchmarking these security solutions against the industry benchmark, like CIS-CSC standards, right? So that like you get a good, robust posture, okay, which is make you hassle-free from a security management. Also, we are telling the customers to have periodic audits of their environments, okay, at various like levels, not only from a external attacks point of view, not only from a DDoS attack point of view. We are also suggesting to let them to look at an application level, look at insider threats, look at threat intelligence, look at like brand protection, brand management, stuff all around that. That's what we are suggesting, right? Next comes the infra management. This is like a typical run-in-the-mill solution. Like this is here for like quite a sort of period of time. Like it talks about like lights on, 24/7 monitoring of the services, okay, and also that complete control. So this is about the infra. Next three areas, right? These are like the areas which is like more relevant in the modern mix of things, right? Service management, right? So we are talking here about like periodic patches, any updates, and also like any automations, right, at the configuration levels. So what from our side, we advocate customer, right? We have to do this on a periodic basis, right? So that like your system currencies are in check. Apart from that, like we also advocate the customers, right, to maintain a CMDB, okay, the CMDB repository, because there are going to be a lot of assets, specifically when you are going to have in cloud, right? So, and how the topology management is going to be run, how we are going to the alerting and stuff like that. And last part, right? So with a lot of automation is baked in place, right? What we are looking at is like a templateized solution rather than like doing a mundane, repeatable task on and on again, right? So basically, we are suggesting the customers to have a standardized like service templates, which is like secure, which is like tested by the infosec, and it can be automated. For example, if tomorrow if they want to scale their environment by onboarding like new age applications into the stream, right? It can be done in a rapid manner rather than like going a process wise, right? So with this, like, so this is talking about like how we advocate our customer towards their digital transformation journey and like onboarding their mission critical applications to the cloud, as well as like setting up an operation center. From now on, like what we are suggesting, like we'll talk something about who we are from Cloud4C perspective and how we are doing this journey for the customers, right? So basically, we are application-focused managed services company, and we are supporting majority of the large enterprises and Fortune 500 customers by supporting their mission-critical environments. Okay, so we support all kinds of cloud, be it like Azure, be it like what do you say, AWS, Google, Oracle, Cloud4C own cloud, as well as like the IBM cloud, right? So some of the highlights which I want to like mention over here, right? So we are one of the few vendors in the market who actually offer like single SLA at the application login level. So this we have done through the multiple exercise which we have with the application service providers, as well as like between the customer and us, and we talk about only an application availability and outcome-based services. Second, what we made sure, right? So automation is into our blood. So we made automation mandatory, and like we have developed our own self-healing operations platform, and this is an automation-enabled like managed services. Services we support from our end. And from a coverage perspective, like we are present in 26 countries, and we are like located around about 52 locations. We are headquartered in Singapore, and like we have offices like in Qatar. We have offices in Dubai, KSA, and Oman. Okay. And from the awards and recognitions point of view, I think there is there to see, and we are the Microsoft Partner of the Year award for like Qatar in 2020 and the UAE this year in 2022, and we are like SAP partners, and we have got the respective like awards in SLA, SAP and Infosys and so on. Now comes to a credential part, right? Before that, like we are also proud to be associated as one of the visionaries in Gartner's like Magic Quadrant for the public cloud transformation in the year 2021. The highlight, if you see, right, we are among the small players who are participating among the big guys, and we are proud, right? So we have been able to like position ourselves in the market due to the great work which we have been doing for the last like 4 or 5 years in the market over here, right? Next comes from a public cloud competencies. I will not take much of a time. Like we are Azure, expert MSP and a gold certified partner. We have 10 advanced specializations, and also like we have won the partner of the year. From a AWS point of view, like we are the advanced consulting partners, and like we have like a resource who are actually certified, and we are one of the few like AWS like outpost partners. When it comes to like Oracle, like we are one of the, I think we are the first CSPs in the region. Apart from that, like we have like a service expertise in the areas of like the database, platform security, data management, and moving some Microsoft applications to OCI. And same is the case with like GCP. On top of that, like we are a SAP partner. Okay, so globally, like the SAP HANA Enterprise Cloud, majority of the customers actually are onboarded on our platform. Okay. Just like a couple of slides before we finish, right? One of the beauty, okay, which we bring into the table is our hybrid like engagement model, right? This is actually tailored to customer requirements, if you could see. For example, just like the top part over here, right? It talks about like the customer environment, like we'll be like interacting with like these are different touch points, right? So from a customer might have like 3 or 4 like different like cloud environments currently, and they will be having their like local IT team to actually like manage that, right? From our perspective, what we do, right? We have a hybrid model where we actually deploy some dedicated resources as well as like some shared pool of resources as per the customer needs. Okay, this is cutting across like the cloud operations platform, the network security platform, which we do that. And also like, so we infuse a lot of like DevOps related like activity in our day-to-day operations, so that like the repeated mundane activities can be just eliminated. On top of that, like we have like a pool of resources who are like strong, capable on like data analytics front, as well as like the shared services related to the backup, as well as like deploying any security and stuff like that, right? If you see the bottom of the player, right? So these are the designated resources we usually like propose to the environment. Like we also have like a certain set of pool of resources called who are part of the center of excellence, right? In our organizations, like we have around about like 25 different like center of excellence who are actually catering to different technology which we are supporting, right? Be it from a OS management point of view, be it from like how we perform the migrations, be it from the networks and the security perspective, and also from the Microsoft apps perspective, and also the SAP engineering piece of things, right? So we do a lot of SAP coverage also, where we this is the big we actually like migrate the mission critical apps, right, from their like native on-prem environment to the cloud, right? So these are this is like a typical hybrid model which we actually do, and on top of that, like, we have our own support functions which on the left, right, we could see the quality, the service management, and also the program management cadence which comes into the picture. And one of the definitive advantages which we have, right, we have a lot of like automation which has been inbuilt from our side. Now we have like a ready repository of knowledge base which we actually can infuse when it comes to like areas of security. We have like ready-made defined playbooks which we can actually like use in, and also like we have some stuff around like the global and the local regulatory compliance. This is due to our engagements which we are engaged with the banks in the region. So we have a tremendous automated compliance management and posture solution also. The all in all, so what we are bringing in is like we are a flexible model which very few in the industry actually like bring in, and we are supporting that. And finally, right, so one of the case study which we want to just like bring into the notice is like we are supporting the nodal ministry in Qatar. So we made sure like we are in complete alignment to your National Vision 2030 objective, right? That is like by migrating their on-premises workloads to cloud. Typically, in this case, it was like Azure. We migrated a complete like heterogeneous IT landscape, which included not only the traditional VMs, the databases of different flair and everything, and also we had set up a business continuity, and also we had like modernized their legacy infrastructure, right? So this is like a high level like activity which we did from our side, like where we did like a combination of like different migration methodologies and strategy, starting from the lift and shift to the re-architecting and the rebuild front. And also we did some out-of-the-box solution for the customer specific, and we have actually like defined a proper framework for them to actually like support their ongoing operation setup, and like and the outcomes are pretty great. Okay, so we had like brought in a lot of like significant savings in their TCO, and we made sure like the system is in compliant to the regulations in Qatar, right? And yeah, so also like we reduced a lot of dependencies on the hardware and the procurement cycle. So basically like since it's like an OPEX model, right? So the customer gets the benefit of like getting all the native native like function features of the cloud, right? This is all we did. Okay, so that's it from my side. Okay, and again, once again, I'm thanks to all to giving this opportunity for us to like present our solution. If you have any questions, please like share it across. Once again, thank you.
Thank you, Sriram, for the very detailed presentation and the insights. Thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us today. I do not see any questions, but I do request everybody to drop in at the Expo booth. We have the Cloud4C team at the booth who will be able to assist you with any questions, anything at all you want to explore about their offerings. Yep. So thank you, Mr. Sriram, once again.
Thank you. My pleasure.